Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
All right, welcome back as we are still remembering Coach Jack Becker, who passed away at 79. Just a great coach, great person, great teacher, great mentor, great friend, great guidance counselor. And joining me now is Jimmy Watkins, one of my teammates, class of 78. And Jimmy, we could probably talk for hours about Coach Becker, but what do you remember most from those practices? First of all, they were fun. They were intense. And you better perform, but what do you remember most?
It's like Coach Neal and Coach Lucanem said, he was a very fundamental coach. I remember we shot a lot of free throws. He used to always brag about, man, you played Vanderbilt, the boys can make free throws. That's because we practice them all the time. And out of bounds plays, we had all kind of various out of bounds plays to get the ball in bounds. So Jack was a really good fundamental coach. And we were mostly overachievers, our group. You know, we probably did a lot better than we anticipated we were. And we played some really, looking back, we played against some really good teams. Coach Neal's team, those guys were extremely talented athletes. Terrebonne had a really good team at that time.
Right.
And so did H.L. Bourgeois. H.L. Bourgeois had the Davis brothers. They had Jesse Miles.
Mike Allsbrook.
They had Mike Allsbrook.
Randy Lejeune.
Those guys were really good. But we were 3A, so we had just moved up that year. And remember, we played Destrehan, who was really good. The Green brothers were good.
Yeah.
And we played Lutcher. We beat Lutcher. Lutcher had Lionel Washington. The guy ended up playing with the Oakland Raiders. He was a cornerback in the NFL for probably 8 or 10 years. So we were, you know, and I'll say this about Jack and Kathy and Coach. He was just a kind, humble man. That's what I remember. Now, when you got in the game and you got in the sidelines, he could definitely get in your face. I remember him being very close, yelling at me and yelling at Blouin a lot about, hey, man, y'all got to get this together.
Y'all were the two he should have been yelling at. But hey, how about
after the game?
Right here, come right here. There's
he'd get really close to you and clap with his hands. Said, "Hey, man, y'all better get it together." But after the game, that was it.
The number one word I heard more in my career with Jack Becker than anything else. Bucks out. Bucks out. I mean, he was emphatic about boxing.
No doubt about that. But
and we needed it.
That was fun. That's back to the fundamentals. He was a fundamental coach, and he knew that's what we needed. But he let us play. He didn't, you know, he fussed us when we did something wrong, which we deserved. But other than that, when the game was over.
Coach Neal was right. He fussed, but he got over it.
He got over it quick. Oh, no, he was right. And he was our biggest supporter. He was a good man. He really was a kind, humble, dedicated person to Vanderbilt Catholic High School. To spend over 40 years as a teacher and coach says everything about him.
And years later, we joke about it, but we'd really see him at every funeral, every function, and there wasn't a whole lot he forgot.
Every wedding, and don't forget, every Mardi Gras parade that Vanderbilt's band marched in, Jack Becker was right there with him. So probably not long ago. He always marched with him.
And talk about his dedication, Jimmy, because that word is often misused, but he was dedicated.
Oh, nobody's more dedicated. I mean, these coaches know I wasn't a coach, but he coached us, washed the uniforms, picked up the equipment, probably put gas in the bus. We know he drove the bus.
Yeah.
And then went home, I guess, had to prepare a lesson plan for, remember, he taught us physical science.
Right.
I think you and Brian Molson passed, I'm not sure. But he did teach us physical science.
Well, the only reason I passed is because I didn't cheat off of you.
But no, dedication is putting it mildly for a guy like him. He was truly dedicated.
What are you going to miss the most about Coach Becker?
Just every time you see him, he's pleasant, and his memory is wonderful. I'm going to miss his stories. He remembers every game, every play. Some I wanted to forget, he brings them back up. But no, he's just I remember he's just a kind, humble man that we can all exemplify our lives by.
But you remember that senior year, and especially I'm going to get to Terry and Mike in a second, but we weren't picked to win a game in district.
No, you're exactly right. And we had a tough district. I'm telling you, back to Destrehan, Lutcher, Donaldsonville.
Right.
I don't think Patterson was in our district at the time. I'm not sure, but they had some
St.
really
James,
good.
St. James.
That's true, St. James. Patterson had some really good teams too, looking back. But we did well. We did really well in our district. We beat Destrehan, I think, once, lost in overtime at that place. And then we had beaten Lutcher at home. I remember that to go to the playoffs. And the famous Martin Falls shot. We beat St. James at St. James.
Well,
And one thing I will say about Jack, he loved to play on the road. I do remember that. He loved us to go play at the other team's gym.
I think he enjoyed that challenge.
He did. He loved to play on the road.
Yeah. But one thing I also notice about, when you see certain coaches along the way, you could tell there's a bitter rivalry with the coach across the gym. He was sitting there talking to him like they were first cousins.
Exactly. No, I never saw him got mad at another coach. I never witnessed that. Again, I saw him get mad at Blue Ant a few times, but I never saw him get mad at another coach. And I remember in practice, Coach Albert was the athletic director for us at the time, and he'd come watch a little bit and give us some tips and whatnot. And Jack was just doing his thing. So,
well, it sure helped to have Coach Alvin and Coach Becker giving you tips about basketball, right?
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And Jack, I guess in his younger days, he must have been a really good low post player because he could really give you some tips on how to play in the post and close to the basket. He was big. He couldn't really jump a whole bunch when he coached us, but he was a really good low post guy.
Yeah. So, but he gave you a lot of accolades. He said, "You the man that got the ball when we needed points." So
the good Lord's kind. That's all I can tell you. We got lucky.
All right, there you have it, Jimmy Watkins. We're gonna make the rounds here. We'll be right back with more. Terry Bro's up next. You might want to pop some popcorn and get some orange juice on this one. We'll be right back.